Bum, 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 bum. What's up, y'all? Philly Fly Show checking it in here, kicking it at Right Way Production Studios, and we are back. Whew. It's been a long, 5 weeks, I think, since I've been on a show, put on a show, or done anything like that. Craziness in my life has kind of gone on where I had to take a big step back. Realistically, it was only supposed to be 1 week, okay? 1 week, I skipped. The next week, my roommate informed me that he was going on vacation. And if some of you know, my roommate kind of provides me with a computer to use where I can actually record this stuff. In fact, it's not even my mic, it's his mic. He had all the setup for a whole podcast stuff. I had the idea. I rolled with it. He empowered me to do what I wanted to do for so long and finally do something of my dream. And he informed me literally the day after I decided not to record. Oh, hey man, I'm going on vacation next week. And I was like, oh, cool. How long are you going for? 18 days it was, or like 20 days or something. And when I at first was like, oh, so it'll only be another 2 weeks of fights. Yeah, in that 2 weeks we had one of the best pay-per-views ever. And in literally 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now, we have the best ever. Back-to-back awesome pay-per-views. In between there, we had some good fight nights. We've had some crazy stuff. I'm not going to bring up everything, but I am going to bring up one quick thing. In between those, we won. Sugar Sean O'Malley beat my boy Cheeto, which was very upsetting. In between there, too, we had someone get Mike Tyson'd, if you don't know what that is. Dude, last week, 2 flyweights, 2 up-and-coming prospects, 2 guys making their UFC debut. Literally, we're having the best fight I have ever seen. Not really ever, but for a long time. It's hard to come out and start a first round like those guys did and do what they did in the first round. I don't even know who was winning after the first round. All I know is I was in my room, I was screaming, I was having a great time, and then dude got bit. He literally bit him. Signaled to the ref. That's all. I didn't see the bite. I seen him signal to the ref. I'm like, why are they stopping this? And then when he showed his arm, at first I was super pissed about it. I'm like, let these guys get in there, take a point from the guy or 2 or whatever you got to do, and just let's go on with the fight. Let the other guy win. He was gonna win anyways. The guy who got bit, not the biter. No, they DQ'd him. The biter got cut from the UFC, and they withheld his money. Right thing to do, UFC. That is not anything we should see in sports. And I'm also going to congratulate the guy, the biter, because he just spoke yesterday. And what he said was exactly the way you need to take accountability for what you did. He said, first, I know what I did was wrong. I don't plan on doing it again type stuff. But, he just knew. He just, right from the start, I'm wrong. The UFC did the right thing by cutting me. I need to learn that I need to control my cool type. In some wording like that, I don't know what he said word for word. But the last part is why I know he actually knows he did wrong and feels. He goes, my guy, or I'm not getting paid, so my camp that I went through is coming out of my pocket to pay. And he doesn't know how he's going to pay. Why? Because he doesn't have other ventures. He doesn't have another job, really. His income was going to be that fight. And to lose all that and then say what you did and not make an excuse. Dude's got remorse, knows he's humbled. He knows he did wrong. And it's a perfect thing to start out this show and start out. One of the things the Philly Fly Show's YouTube channel is going to get into is motivational speeches eventually, and something motivational. I'm just trying to find my niche with it. But when you're wrong, take accountability, man. Everybody does wrong. It doesn't matter what it is. Everyone does wrong. It can be super severe. When you humble yourself over it, learn from it, accept the fact that you did something wrong, you can get over it. I myself, about a year ago, started really taking some accountability for my actions and how I was, and looking at myself from a third eye, essentially, a third point of view, not directly from my brain. And that is the number one thing that made me more humble, was taking accountability, and I need to do it even more. I am not even perfect. I am nowhere near perfect with it, but learn from that. Let's move on. I've already started 5 minutes on talking about UFC stuff and not even talking about the event we got. So we're going to jump into it. Shout out to anyone trying to change their life, and let's get it. Let's get it. UFC Fight Night. Erin Blanchfield versus Manon Fiorot is a flyweight female contender fight. This fight right here, they might not even instantly get it, but this is to beat off who is the actual contender for the next flyweight title. We already know it's Valentina Grasso, third fight. Pretty much, I think it's third fight in a row, but third fight. We know that's coming. It's coming up here in the next couple months. We need an ending to it. Once you get the ending to it, it's time to move on. Whether Valentina wins, whether Grasso wins, it's all coming down to it. But these two women right here, they are the future of the flyweight division. But we don't start there. We start with match like number 14. 14 fights out of 14. We start with 14. It's a bantamweight male fight between Angel Pacheco and Colin Logran, man. Logran is making his UFC debut. Pacheco, I think he has one fight in the UFC. Pacheco's like plus 315 underdog, whereas Colin is a negative 425, which if you know anything about the odds makers, are going to put a big one on when they just assume that you're going to win. It's not always right, but in this one, guys, I'm going with Colin too. His MMA skill set's just going to be too much for Angel. It's going to be a bad fight for him. For sure, Colin getting his hand raised. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level that he gets the W there. Now, we'll jump into match like number 13, middleweight fight between Andre Petroski and Jacob Malkoun. Look, man, if you would ask me, jeez, I wish I could give you the exact date, but first time I seen Jacob Malkoun in the UFC, I was not impressed, and he did not look good. It would look like he was literally on the verge of being cut, it looked like. And then he just goes on this crazy streak. Yeah, I think he has one loss in between, in his last 4 fights or something like that. But dude is a killer. Dude showed us that he can wrestle, he can strike, he can do it all. Andre Petroski, on the other hand, came in high, hit his low now that he got knocked out by Michel Pereira. Looking back at it now, it doesn't look so bad, but at the time, Michel Pereira had a questionable gas tank, and I thought for sure on that fight, I know I picked Petroski to win because I lost some money on it and put Petroski on my do not bet list. So this is his chance to get off the do not bet list. But Jacob Malkoun is a negative 240 favorite, whereas Petroski is a plus 195 underdog. I'm going Malkoun here, man. I just think his MMA skill set is too much for Andre. Andre can throw power strikes, but he's not classified as a good striker. He's more of a wrestling fanatic or grappling specialist. Malkoun's both, man. He's got it both. He's got both sides. So if he can defend a takedown, throw some good strikes, it's going to be a long night for Petroski. So I'm picking Jacob Malkoun again, 3 out of 5 on the confidence level that he gets his hand raised. Now, match like number 10, we'll go to the female division. We get Victoria Dukadova versus Melissa Gatto. Melissa Gatto is a negative 155 favorite, whereas Victoria is a plus 130 underdog. Look, Victoria is an undefeated fighter, and she is no slouch. In this flyweight division, she brings power, she brings speed, and she brings great striking. Melissa, more of an MMA game where it's all well-rounded in almost all divisions, all skill sets. She doesn't really have anything that takes her over the top on anything. But for me, I'm going with the plus 130 underdog, Victoria Dukadova. She is got power, and I think that her landing some good strikes or even some of her crazy kicks. She's just a good striker all around. I'm going Dukadova here. 1 out of 5, though, on the confidence level that she gets her hand raised. All right, match like number 11, we get in the light heavyweight division. It is Ibo Azalan versus Anton Turkadov. Now, look, man, Ibo is really, really good. So is Anton. They're both good. But Ibo, in his 12-1 record as an MMA pro, his one loss comes from a submission. So you're like, oh, they put him up against a grappler. No, this guy's also known freestyle striker. Ibo has 12 wins, all of them knockout or TKO. Do you really think Anton's going to have a shot here if this fight stays standing up? Or even it gets to the ground? I think dude can strike on the ground too if I watch the right fight of his. I mean, it's undercard fight people and under promotion fights, but I what I saw in his skill set, dude, I am scared for this dude, Anton. I think that it's going to be a vicious, vicious win here. Ebo's a negative 125 favorite, plus 105 on Anton, which the odds makers are saying is close. You know what, guys? Either A, take Ebo for the win and do it on a single pick too, because the odds are just phenomenal with that negative 125. But if you want to get them up there, do what I'm doing with this fight. I am picking a finish by Ebo. TKO, KO. If you do it that route, it gets up even higher. I've seen it up as high as plus 225. So if you can get that, jump on that one all day, because if he gets a win there, he's knocking him the bleep out. Let's go. Jumping into match like number 10, it is a featherweight bout between Dukas Buzaka and Connor Matthews. Buzaka's a negative 115 negative 115 pick'em. Connor's a negative 105. You can do whatever route you want on either of these fights. I almost tossed a coin up. I had to go look and make sure who I picked the guy that was in my head who I thought was going to win. I'm picking Dennis Buzaka. He faced a little bit more stiffer skill set. 2 tough fights for his first UFC fight. So, or his first 2 UFC fights. Connor, good MMA, well-rounded. It was hard, man. So I still went Dennis. I'm not going to lean. I'm not going to switch. But I will say 1 out of 5 on the confidence level that Dennis gets his hand raised. We'll stay in the featherweight male division. We get Julio Arce versus Herbert Burns. It's good to see Herbert Burns in there again, but he's a plus 315 underdog versus Julio Arce at negative 425. Dude, Julio is on a tear. Julio striking just looks phenomenal. It's going to be a long, long night for Herbert. Picking Julio here, and biggest confidence level on all these fights is for Julio. 4 out of 5 that he gets his hand raised and gets a phenomenal finish. If you want to turn that into something different, pick a finish, but I'm not picking a finish there. I'm picking a decision and picking Julio Arce to win to get the better odds, but that's just me personally. All right, match like number 8 is a strawweight female fight. We get Verna Gimbroda versus Lupi Ganitas. Lupi is a negative 235 favorite. Verna plus 190. Sorry, guys. Verna plus 190. Dude, Verna, it seems like in the tougher skill set fighter that she fights, she ends up making it a very, very close fight and scares me. And Lupi, to be fair, she has made leaps and bounds over her first debut, but she is the girl who took that fight, I think it was a week's notice, like fought 1 week, fought the next week. She didn't win, but she wanted to be the first person to do it. I think that personally put her down in people's eyes on her skill set in MMA, but she's made the leap. Lupi does not lose this fight to me, but like I said, every time I go against Gimbroda and say that she is not going to lose, she makes it a dog fight. So Lupi's got to be in for a good long fight here and actually use her gas tank and grappling skill set. Picking her to win 1 out of 5 on the confidence level. She gets her hand raised. All right. Featured prelim bout of the evening is a featherweight fight between Nate Landor and Jamal Emmers. Jamal Emmers is a negative 180 favorite. Nate Landor is a plus 150 underdog. Look, Nate came up really short in having, I think it was a main event fight night fight. He came up short, and I feel like he should have took a little more time off to do something a little different, but he jumped in this fight here. He jumped in real quick. He's fighting Jamal Emmers, who's coming off a good win in November, a 49-second knockout. Dude, plus 150 on Nate, negative 180 on Jamal. It was hard for me, man, because Nate, he's knocked out some guys that he should have lost to. Even in the fight, he was losing. Knocked dude out. Man, I'm picking Jamal Emmers, but I was not confident on this one either. Jamal Emmers with the win. 1 out of 5 on the confidence level. He gets his hand raised, but that's a fight don't miss, guys. That's a banger. Literally a banger. If you don't want to bet on it, you just want to sit back, relax, and watch 2 people take each other's heads off, that's what I want to watch. That's what I'm signing up for. We're jumping to the main card of the evening. We'll start in the welterweight male division. We get Chidi Nokwani versus Rice McGee. Chidi's a negative 150 favorite. McGee plus 125. McGee had a high potential as a prospect. Came up short in his first fight in the UFC, where Chidi's got some bangers. Chidi throws hard, but Chidi got a bad gas tank, man. All because of that lactic acid going to those muscles. It is definition of cardio. He's one guy that just needs to work on his cardio always. And if he can last the 3 rounds, I'm going Chidi. But if this goes 3 rounds, watch out for McGee to steal a win here. But I'm going Chidi because I think he lands a bad shot on Rice and puts him to sleep. 1 out of 5 though on my confidence level that Chidi gets a W there. Match like number 5 is a featherweight bout between Bill Algeo and Kyle Nelson. Plus 205 on Kyle Nelson, negative 250 on good old Bill Algeo. Look, Bill has got that crazy funky style. It's going to look a little different to you. He's a good fighter. Kyle Nelson got lucky I don't remember if it was his last fight or the fight before, but dude got lucky, and to me, he got lucky. Landed a good shot. He's a good fighter. It's just the guy he fought I thought was going to tear him apart. This time fighting Bill Algeo, he's getting tearing apart. Bill Algeo's getting the W there. Negative 250 on the Bill Algeo's where I'm going. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level that he gets his hand raised against Kyle Nelson. All right, match like number 4 is a middleweight bout. I'm going to just destroy probably both these names. So if these aren't even how they're pronounced when the fight goes on, I'm sorry, guys. Sometimes I screw these up, and I did not feel like listening to the names. First one is Nursultan Ruzabev. Okay, not so bad, right? Fighting Sendrike Humas or Dumas, whatever way you want to say it. I think it's Humas. I think it's silent with the D, but hey, could be wrong. Anyways, Ruzabov had a crazy first round knockout in his last fight, whereas Humas is on a 3-2 maybe fight win streak in the UFC. Look, man, Ruzabev negative 220, Humas plus 180, Dumas, whatever way you want to say it. I'm going Humas here. I think he gets his hand raised. He looks so good. So does Ruzabov, but we've only seen him fight 1 fight, whereas I've seen Dumas fight 4 fights, and all 4 guys that I've watched him fight, reasonable. So I'm going Dumas here with the plus 180. 1 out of 5, though, on the confidence level that he gets his hand raised. Match like number 3, we get Chris Weidman versus Bruno Silva in a middleweight fight. Plus 205 on Chris. Negative 250 on Bruno. Look, I would have went 4 on this, but Chris has got some game in the first round. After the first round, I'm not so sure. He didn't look that great in his last fight. He is coming off that broken leg, so that might be why his cardio wasn't at the level that he wanted. He thinks he's making another run at the championship. I don't see it happening. Bruno Silva stops him in his track. Take it. Bruno Silva with that negative 250. 3 out of 5 confidence level that Bruno gets his hand raised. Co-main event of the evening welterweight fight. Vicente Luque versus Joaquin Buckley. Look, man, Joaquin Buckley's great. Thanks for stepping in this fight short notice, like 8 days notice. Pretty good to get that to happen. But Vicente Luque, you look like the last time you fought, Buckley's going to beat the brakes off you, bro. But I don't see that. I just think it was a bad weight cut for Luque. He's kind of talked about it, saying he didn't take it that seriously, even though he always does take things seriously. It's just kind of weird. I feel like something just happened in his life and he got a little distracted. Things happen. It happens, especially to fighters. They have a bad day at the office, too. He had a bad day at the office. Let's bounce back here with a big win, taking him at the negative 115, and I'm 3 out of 5 confidence level that he gets his hand raised. I just think there's levels to this game, and Vicente Luque, for me, is a levels above Buckley, but we'll see if Buckley makes that next step and takes over Vicente Luque's spot. And then we get to the main event of the evening, flyweight female fight, Erin Blanchfield, Manon Fiorot. Erin Blanchfield, negative 185 favorite, whereas Manon Fiorot's a plus 155 underdog. Dude, that is some crazy stuff. This is going to be a crazy female fight. It's going to be way better than last week's fight. Don't be dogged because of a Rose Namajunas fight. Erin Blanchfield brings it. Manon Fiorot throws crazy strikes and has power in the female division. if Erin Blanchfield decides to stand in front of Manon Fiorot, it could be a bad night for Erin Blanchfield. But she can strike too. I just know the kickboxing skill set. I feel like Manion's going to be faster, maybe even have a little more power on her strikes, and definitely more power in her kicks. But where Erin is good is she's well-rounded in MMA, where she can grapple, she can strike, and she throws more straights than looping stuff, like some of the female fighters. So it's going to be a close fight, but for me, Erin Blanchfield gets a good win here because she's going to be able to take her down, beat her down, and do things to her that the girl is not used to. But like I said, it's a standing at distance. Not going to be a good night for Erin at all. You can go whatever route you want. I'm going Erin Blanchfield 1 out of 5 on the confidence, though, but I'm not throwing any parlays together. I'm not telling you guys any parlays to throw together either because this is a 14-leg fight card. You do not want to do some crazy things like I've been doing where I'm doing 6 to 8 fights always, and it doesn't work all the time, guys. I got to get out of that feeling. You guys got to get out of that feeling. Only way I'm doing parlays on MMA fights now is if there's 2 400s that I like and I can't get the odds the way I want them with either decision or finish or whatever way I feel, then I'm going to put them together. But for you guys this week, no parlays. Put together what you want. If you stick to my strategy, I only put 3s and above on there for confidence stuff. If I'm doing a risk, that's where you throw some craziness on there where you pick certain person knockout. Like quick scenario, my buddy when we went and Sugar Sean O'Malley, who just won in his last pay-per-view fight, when he won the title, my buddy, he was like plus 400 or something like that, and he went and picked him with a knockout. So dude got it at like plus 800, close to plus 800 or something. It was crazy. He got a big win. I told him he was nuts. He went against what I said and won. Sometimes you got to go against what I say and win. All right, y'all. Philly Fly Show. Thanks for checking into my show. Thanks you for Right Way Production Studios for always making this happen. And you know what, y'all? I will see you next week because the Philly Fly Show is back. Peace out, y'all. And sorry the show is a little longer than usual, but I had to just do some chit-chatting.